Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE Stomping Grounds 2019, broadcast on Sunday, June 23rd, 2019. So I missed the kickoff show. Unfortunately, it sounded like it's a pretty great match, but I do plan on going back and watching that. I'm recording this right now, and I would go back and watch it before I record this, but Raw starts in about a half an hour, so I wanted to get this episode recorded real quick before that, so I could watch tonight's episode of Raw with my complete focus, I guess, kind of thing. So eventually, when I do watch that match, I will talk about it. So hopefully, I'll see it before. I'll try to watch it before I record the next episode of Raw. So I am recording this after having actually seen the movie Anna, or Anna, however they pronounce it, Anna in there. Written and directed by Luc Besson, and it was all right. It was all right. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say run out and go see it or anything like that. It would be a good rental or something like that, or like a great matinee movie. It's not like a huge blockbuster. It's going to like blow your mind or anything like that. But there's some good stuff in there. The one, the main criticism I have about it is that it is told not out of time, non-sequentially. And which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But they usually, when that happens, because they want to front load the movie with like a big action scene, something like that. In this case, if I remember correctly, the first really big action scene, there are a few big action scenes, but the first one happens like an hour into the film. And if you're telling the story out of sequence, this is the case where I'd argue, yeah, get some action there in the beginning. I mean, there is in the beginning, like, a whole bunch of people get killed, but it's like it's they don't like even stand a chance. So like, spoiler for the beginning of the movie. But there's no fighting, there's no like chasing, really. There's some struggle and stuff like that, but it doesn't have anything to do with the main character. I mean, it does tangentially, but our main character is not involved in those events. They happen before she even gets going on it, all the different things that happen in this movie. But yeah, so that's my main criticism of it. But I mean, if you've seen the trailer for it, I only vaguely remember the trailer, but it's pretty much what I expected from what I do remember from the trailer. That it's, spy stuff, assassination stuff, all that kind of thing. And yeah, so check it out. Let me know what you thought about it if you do check it out. So yeah, let's talk about Stomping Grounds. So we had the kickoff show that I did not watch, and I did not watch the Cruiserweight Championship match, which is the match that was on the kickoff show. Drew Gulak is champion, and I'm super happy about that. That's the main thing that I'm sad for, that I wasn't actually there in person to see, because I've wanted Drew Gulak as champion like for over a year now, I think. And I think you can go back and listen to some episodes where I talk about, I don't know specific episodes of it, but listen to some 205 Live episodes, listen to some of the pay-per-view episodes, especially up to WrestleMania last year. I believe that he was one of my main picks, if not my main pick, for the tournament to determine who would be fighting. That the final was at WrestleMania last year, and ended up being Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. And I think I was rooting for him in the tournament this year as well. But anyway, I'll talk about that more after I actually watch it. Actually, it will probably make sense for me to talk about it when I finally get around to watching NXT UK from last week. So watch out for that episode. It'll probably be sometime tomorrow. But yeah, I saw this movie. I'm jumping back into the present. This episode is going to be non-linear like the movie Anna. But I saw this movie in St. Louis because I had a great time having lunch and catching up with Kate, who lives out here, and that made the trip even better. I'll talk about in this week's new comics episode how the convention went at the St. Charles Convention Center. It's the MightyCon, St. Louis MightyCon, St. Louis Comic Con by MightyCon, whatever they call it. It went really well. So I'll talk about that more in this coming week 26 new comics episode. Stay tuned for that. But I saw the movie because if I left when we parted ways, like a little bit before 4 o'clock, I would just be in traffic. Like, it would add like an extra hour probably of driving between the traffic here in St. Louis. I mean, I'm on the west side of St. Louis, and I'm heading westward. So it wouldn't have been that bad because I wouldn't be going through the middle of the city or anything like that. But Kansas City, I'd be going through there like, 7 o'clock, something like that. And traffic probably would be pretty bad at that point. But then again, maybe it's night construction that was what I passed coming on the way in, and maybe it'll be just awful when I go there now. But it's 6:30 now, and I think that means rush hour might be wrapping up here. So once I finish recording this episode, I'm gonna get on the road, head back home. So that's why I saw this movie, and I'm very tired though. I thought maybe I would fall asleep during the movie. That would have been maybe a good thing, but maybe it's better that I didn't fall asleep. Okay, so let's talk back to Stomping Grounds. So I am not currently driving. I'm sitting in my car. I have the AC on. It's working still. That's good. I took it in right before this trip, and I determined that my compressor is leaking, and it could stop working at any point now, or like it could run. It's not just gonna like blow up or something, but it's the AC compressor, and it could stop working at some point. So that's another reason I got to get back home so I can take my car in, get that all fixed up. But I did have other plans. I was going to go up to Chicago maybe and go across to another convention next weekend, but that's not happening due to the car stuff and estate tag stuff. But I'll talk about that more in the comic book episode. So on Stomping Grounds, we had the kickoff show. I already talked about that. We open up with Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans. Becky won that match. This is going to be really quick. The only real notes I took were for the final. Like, I took a ton of notes for the final match, for the main event. Pretty much the non-championship matches I didn't really pay attention to, because it started like right when the convention ended. So I was packing up and I was talking to a bunch of the artists around me. I'll talk about that more in the comic book episode, like I said. So that's why I missed the kickoff show. And then I went to eat at Cracker Barrel, because it's right next to my hotel. And so I was just watching on mute while I was there. And so I saw the action, but a lot of the commentary and stuff, I missed out on that. Because even with the captions, it's delayed and it's a little bit hard to tie things together, so I mostly end up ignoring the captions anyway. The next match, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Xavier Woods and Big E. I did not pay attention to this match at all, but Sami Zayn pinned Xavier Woods to get the win. I think it was Sami who pinned Xavier. Sami and Kevin won, whoever made the pin. So there's that. Next up, we had Ricochet versus Samoa Joe. I loved this match. So much great stuff in it. Maybe it was a little bit ridiculous that Ricochet kept kicking out of everything, but I think that it made the frustration from Joe more and more believable. But you also argue, like, why would Joe even be in that position? Joe's kind of looking like a punk lately. Like, for a long time, he's kind of looking like a punk. Keeps losing all these matches. and yet he's somehow still believable as monster to contend with. I don't know, but anyway, Ricochet won after a 520, 620, whatever, 620, 630 senton. He had a failed one right before that, but he did land on his feet and he kept going through and all that. I thought Samoa Joe, when he went for a kick, Samoa Joe caught his foot and then flipped him backwards. Like, he did like a double flip backwards, and I thought that was pretty slick. I don't think I'd seen that happen before. So I did enjoy that. So Ricochet won. He is the U.S. champion. And tonight on Raw, we're going to have AJ Styles versus Ricochet, because AJ wants a piece of that. He didn't want a piece of Samoa Joe again. He wants a piece of Ricochet. His championship. It's not a championship match, but it's still building to something. And when he crashed, he challenged him when he crashed Ricochet's photo shoot with the new champion photos. So he crashed those photos. AJ crashed those photos along with Luke and Carl. So I'm liking that the club is back together. It's not like super in your face or anything like that, but it gives me hope for some club action. So I'm looking forward to it. Then we had Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan defend their championships, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, against Heavy Machinery, Tucky, and Dozy. Why did I say it like that? I was gonna say Otis. I went. It's not Odie. He doesn't have. Anyway, they had a strong showing, but Daniel Bryan and Rowan worked together just too well, and they got the upper hand. And Bryan rolled up Tucky for the win. Yeah. I'm only going to call him Tucky. I'm not replacing the Y with the ER. He's Tucky. Tucky. Anyway, up next we had Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. Nikki Cross at ringside. Nikki tried to help, but it may have hurt more than help when she was trying to keep Alexa out of harm's way, as Bayley successfully defended, and she remains the SmackDown Women's Champion. I was almost certain Alexa was going to win, because we have Alexa 365 air after this episode, and it is really, that documentary is really good, and I don't know, maybe it was just the mood I was in from the whole weekend going really well, and just enjoying this pay-per-view, and I had some fatifying, delicious food in my belly, but I just really liked I liked this pay-per-view overall, and I really liked Alexa 365, the Alexa Bliss 365 episode, documentary, whatever it's called, whatever the actual name is. But I'm not gonna talk more about that. Oh, actually, okay, I'm gonna jump forward. There's one quote that I wrote a note for. I didn't take notes about anything else about the Alexa Bliss 365, but it was before her day hosting WrestleMania, and she was there with Nia Jax, and Nia was like, "Oh, are you nervous?" Alexa's like, "Yeah, I am nervous," and Nia goes, "Yeah, you're probably gonna mess it up." I thought that was really, really funny. They're really fun to watch together when they're just being themselves. So go. I recommend the Alexa Bliss 365 special. You get some Larry Steve in there, some Larry Steve Pig action. Up next, the club crashes Ricochet's photo shoot. I already talked about that. We had Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. This is the match, another match that I did not pay attention to. Roman won. Despite Shane getting involved, Shane pulled off all kinds of nonsense, but Roman was able to overcome, which is kind of crazy. Roman could overcome the odds to defeat Drew McIntyre, but he can't overcome the odds to defeat Shane McMahon. What kind of what is that? Then we had Kofi versus Dolph Ziggler in a cage match. There's all kinds of stuff with them like hanging out of the door of the cage, and I thought this match was just great. And then Kofi wins via suicide dive because Dolph was about to climb out of the ring, and Kofi just dives through the ropes, through that door, and out on the floor. That looked super painful, but he pulls it off, and he is still WWE champion. It should have been Dolph. It wasn't Dolph, and it isn't Dolph. That wasn't a great reference to it. Anyway, and then our main event: Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins. The guest referee. Who is it? Who could it be? Is it Brock Lesnar? Oh, could it be Brock Lesnar? No, it's Lacey Evans. On the way into the ring, she trips. I thought that was really funny. And she is just counting very, very slowly whenever Seth goes in for a pin. And later on, she doesn't even count at all. And so I posted her arch nemesis is the Count from Sesame Street. But Seth puts Baron Corbin through a table, and he's just out of action. And Lacey starts counting. She gets to 8. And she calls she calls Mike Rome over and says, "This match, it's now no countouts. So there you go, announce it." So there's no countouts. Seth then goes for a pin after he gets back in the ring, but Lacey's shoulder, which was hurt during her match with Becky Lynch, she tweaks out. She can't complete the 3 count, and so the match does not end there. And then Baron Corbin attacks Seth Rollins with a chair outside of the ring, and she's kind of ignoring it. He gets back in the ring, still hitting with the chair, and she calls over Mike Rome again. All right, it's no disqualifications. None of that. Doesn't matter. I really like this match. I really enjoy it. Lacey Evans is so funny. Also, during the Lacey Evans Becky match, there's she did her whole thing. She looks so like, I don't know. She was like patting herself with her tissue, her handkerchief. She's like her posture and stuff. It really made me laugh. But then Becky like stuffed it in her mouth and everything. I thought that was pretty good. That was pretty good too. Dare I say, Lacey Evans is my favorite thing about this entire pay-per-view. It's just a little bit. Anyway, it makes it no disqualification, but then Seth hits a Falcon Arrow onto the chair, and Lacey Evans doesn't count at all. So they get into an argument. She slaps him. She hits him with a low blow, and Baron Corbin hits. He's recovered and hits Seth Rollins with the End of Days. But Becky has already made her way out, and before the count can begin, she beats the crap out of Lacey Evans. John Cone, he enters the like all the refs go out there. John Cone takes her place, and Seth hits the stomp, and he gets the pin and retains the Universal Championship. Becky and Seth hug. Becky slaps his butt, and commentary calls Seth the Man's Man. So that's his new nickname. I think that should be his only nickname now. The Man. If they actually put that, I would be pretty annoyed if I were either of them if they made that merchandise. But maybe I'll make that. No, that's a weird shirt for. That takes a lot of explaining for anybody wearing that. Even for him to wear it, it takes a lot of explaining for people who aren't familiar with what's going on. So, yeah, Becky and Seth together. It's part of the story now. I mean, it's already been referenced before, but this is the first like solid thing that come of it. And I kind of appreciate that this it all tied together from the beginning to the end of the show, and I thought that was kind of a nice thing about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens next. Raw and SmackDown last week were pretty good, and if it's pretty good again this week, then my hopes continue to be fulfilled a little bit. That things are improving, and it's getting more excited to watch again. And we're building towards Extreme Rules, and that's a full. It is only 3 weeks away, but it'll still be a pretty good show, I think. I don't know. None of the matches have been made yet, but hopefully we get another Cruiserweight Championship match. Hopefully we get the Women's Tag Team Championship match there. Yeah, because we're going to have... I'll talk about this in the SmackDown episode, because that wasn't really addressed at all in this pay-per-view. Overall, I am liking a lot of the stuff that's going on. We got a little bit of the replay from the I haven't this happened since the last episode of this. R-Truth, as we know, on SmackDown lost his championship to Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick got married like Thursday or Friday. So after at the end of the ceremony, as he was walking back up the aisle with his new wife, he was rolled up by R-Truth, who won back the championship, and so he's back on the run. But maybe something else has happened since then. I haven't checked out all the social media stuff yet today. Kurt Hawkins posted something about it, but I think it was just like a fantasy, I wish maybe this will happen type of post, and not like an actual thing, because he was like, spoiler alert, and there was a picture of him with the 24/7 championship, but I didn't see anything else about that. I didn't look into it, so we'll see what happens next. I'm excited to see what happens next with that and everything else, pretty much. But again, I really recommend Alexa Bliss 365. I teared up a little bit throughout it, because there's a lot about her getting injured and things like that. And it's really obvious that she loves what she does. And it was like, it's hard to see anybody like lose that. And she wasn't able to do it. And like for a big chunk of the documentary, she was like really questioning things like, is this over, or am I even gonna be able to get it back in the ring and stuff like that? And yeah, I don't want to spoil. We know how things are now. She's back in the ring, which is awesome, and it's even more awesome now having seen this this documentary. Is like they talk about the specific moves, specific bumps that she took that caused all the issues, and I thought that was really. It was interesting that they were that specific about it. And yeah, so go check it out. That's it. I think we're going to get on the road now and watch Raw tonight. I got 800 miles to drive. That's so many. I probably won't do it. I'll probably take a break this time, because I don't have to get there at a specific time tomorrow or anything. So, let me know what you thought about Stomping Grounds and what you thought about the movie Anna and Alexa Bliss 365 by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. And I'll be back real soon. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you again here on TIW Podcast. Bye.